This Texas town calls itself the Cowboy Capital of the world. But behind the rodeos, saloons, and tourist attractions lies a much darker frontier history. Let's rewind. Bandera, Texas sits along the Medina River in the Texas Hill Country, surrounded by rugged hills, limestone cliffs, ranches, and old cattle trails. Long before Bandera existed, the region was home to indigenous peoples including the Lipan Apache and later the Comanche. For generations, native groups traveled through the hill country hunting, trading, and fighting for territory across central Texas. Then came Spanish colonization. During the 1700s, Spanish expeditions and missions expanded into parts of Texas. But the hill country remained dangerous frontier territory for decades. Raids, warfare, and violent conflict between native groups, settlers, soldiers, and raiders shaped much of the region. After the Texas Revolution ended in 1836, Anglo settlement rapidly expanded deeper into central Texas, and frontier violence intensified. Bandera itself officially began developing in 1853 when Polish immigrants arrived through a settlement effort. The town's name, Bandera, comes from the Spanish word for flag. Local tradition says the area may have once served as a landmark or gathering place for travelers and native groups. But cattle transformed the town. By the late 1800s, Bandera became one of the important staging areas for cattle drives moving north toward Kansas. Cowboys, ranchers, gamblers, drifters, and outlaws regularly passed through the region. And like many frontier communities, violence became part of everyday life. Gunfights, horse theft, bandit raids, and deadly disputes occurred throughout Bandera County during the Old West era. At the same time, violent conflict continued between settlers and native tribes throughout the Texas frontier. Comanche raids remained a major fear across parts of the hill country during the mid to late 1800s. Texas Rangers and frontier militias frequently operated in the region during this period, and many native communities were eventually forced from the area through warfare, military campaigns, disease, and displacement. Bandera also developed a reputation as a rough cattle town. By the late 1800s, saloons, gambling halls, dance halls, and frontier drinking culture had become central parts of local life. Then came another challenge: flooding, because the Medina River repeatedly flooded Bandera County over the years, destroying ranch land, roads, homes, and businesses. Severe flooding in July 1932 affected parts of central Texas and the hill country, but Bandera survived. And during the early 1900s, the town began leaning heavily into Western tourism and cowboy culture. The Dixie Dude Ranch, founded in 1901, helped establish Bandera as one of the earliest dude ranch destinations in Texas. Over time, rodeos, horseback riding, live country music, and Western tourism became major parts of the economy, and Bandera became internationally known as the Cowboy Capital of the world. Historic places like the Frontier Times Museum, founded by newspaper publisher J. Marvin Hunter in 1933, helped preserve stories from the Old West era. Landmarks like Archie Blue's Silver Dollar Bar and Main Street still reflect the town's Western identity today. But underneath the tourism, Bandera still carries the history of frontier violence, native displacement, outlaw culture, saloons, floods, and survival that shaped much of early Texas. Because this isn't just another small Texas town, it's one of the last places where the mythology of the Old West still heavily defines everyday life. Follow for more stories like this one.